This episode is part 3 to a 4-episode series all about maximizing your content to make more sales. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the most overlooked opportunity many creators gloss over during their promotional period. So if emailing your list during a sale or launch is part of your marketing strategy, then you're really going to want to stick around because this episode is specifically for you. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hey, I'm Lucy Reyes, your host of the Cheerful Productive Chats podcast, where I'm on a mission to help online entrepreneurs like you focus on all the right things and kiss overwhelm goodbye. Here, you're going to learn strategies that will boost your productivity so that you can scale your online biz and impact lives sooner. It's your time to shine, so let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Cheerful Productive Chats podcast. Now, this is the 3rd episode in the series, so let's do a quick recap in case you haven't been following along, which if you haven't, I really recommend that you go back and listen to the last 2 episodes because they really do lead up to what I'm going to be covering today. So in the first episode, we were talking about the first step to creating content that sells, and that it's not actually creating the content itself. It's planning your promotions first. And then in episode 2, the second episode in this series, which is the last one, we talked about planning and creating your content around these promotions and sales. Now this time, we're going to talk about how to make your biggest marketing asset, aka your email list, a whole lot easier. So let's talk about scheduling your emails in advance. And I know that there's 2 sides. Like some people don't want to schedule in advance and some people want to schedule as ahead as you possibly can. Now, there's truly, in my opinion, no right or wrong answer here. And I'm not saying that you need to write your entire email copy at this point yet. So if you're following along, the first step is plan out your promotions. The second step is write your content around those promotions, or at least your topics. Know what your topic is going to be to promote the product, the offer, the service, whatever you're going to be offering. And then the third step is to schedule your emails in advance. But it doesn't mean that you have to write the copy, but at least know when you're going to send it, roughly around what time you're going to send it, and what the topic of that email is going to be. You can outline it. It can just be an outline of this email is going to be the announcement email. And it's going out on April 22nd, 2024. And that is perfectly fine. At least you'll have a visual representation of what emails you're going to be sending, what time you're going to be sending them at, and what the email topic is going to be. Now, personally, I use my email marketing planner. I have a template for this inside of the shop. So if you want to check that out, it's at cheerstoproductivity.com/Trello-email planner. Of course, the link is in the show notes, but that's what I personally use to help me plan and schedule out all of my emails. And what this does, it helps you see what you will write when it is time to write that copy. And especially if you're doing a big launch, there might be days when you're going to send multiple emails in one day. And if you don't have an organized, systematic way of how to keep track of all of these emails, they may not flow right into one another. And so that is really the magic, where the magic comes in of why you want to schedule these emails in advance. They let you see where there are gaps, because if you see the topic, I use the example of announcement. Maybe you send an FAQ email. Maybe you're sending a why this matters or why you should get this now. You can start to see which emails are missing, right? And especially if you're referencing another course or program that's helping you with your launch emails, or some other templates that's giving you the sequence, you can start to piece together I already have an email talking about the benefits. This email should be focused on why they should join now. You would be able to visually see what is missing, make sure that they flow one into another. And the reason why I personally like doing my scheduling inside of a project management tool like Trello is because you can easily move things around as you need to. In the middle of a launch, if you're seeing that some sort of messaging isn't resonating with your audience, you can go in and be like, you know what? I'm not going to send this email today. I'm going to send this email on Friday instead of Thursday. You can easily go to your Trello board, your email marketing planner, open it up, grab that card with the email that you planned out and drag it over to Friday, move something else out, add in a new email. You can do all of this super easy peasy inside of your project management tool. So I personally really highly recommend that you do this step. You schedule them in advance and that you write out what the topics are going to be. However, this is actually not the part that a lot of people miss out on. Like this is still a huge step that I just covered. Like this is a huge piece that I really want you to do. But there's another part that I really want you to focus on too. And this is what I feel like most people are missing out on doing. And what we're actually going to focus on the majority of this episode today. And that's to track your email stats. Don't wait until your launch is over or that your launch has started to get your spreadsheet launch tracker, email tracker set up, because by the time your launch starts, you're going to have so many other things going on. Life probably happened and you probably got behind on some tasks. You're probably trying to figure out what you're going to post on social media or like what email to send next, especially if you didn't plan it out, like I mentioned just now. But you're going to have so many other things going on that you might just not even do it at all. You're going to be like, you know what? I'll figure out the stats and the data later. And that, my friend, is a huge mistake. Inside of the email performance tracking workshop, I'm including the exact spreadsheet that I use to track every single promotional campaign that I send out. Whether it's a flash sale, a launch event, a virtual event, no matter what type of launch or promotional email campaign it is, I am using a specific spreadsheet with very specific information. And let me tell you, while I am a data nerd, I am still keeping everything as simple as I possibly can because yeah, we don't have huge teams and we don't have time to get into the nitty gritty of every single little thing, but it's still super helpful to just track it. Even if you don't make decisions in the moment, even if you don't take a moment to analyze it in the moment, at least you have it there for the future once you are ready. Once you have a team that can go back and start looking through your data, like, okay, what have we done here? What has changed? What have we done? It is so helpful to have all of this information tracked. But here's the reasons why this matters. Like, here's the real reasons why this is so important and why not tracking your data is a mistake and why you should really do it. Whether it's a flash sale, a launch event like a boot camp or a challenge or a summit or a bundle or a webinar or something else. The first reason why is because you can make real-time adjustments. So tracking data in real time allows you to make those immediate adjustments during a live promotion. So for example, if you're in the middle of a launch and you realize that you are having really low open rates and you've tracked it for 2 to 3 out of the 7-day campaign, just as an example, and you're noticing that your open rates are much lower than usual, it might be a time to like, oh, hold on, stop. What is going on? Go back and check your last year's or last time you promoted the same product. Are you using the same subject lines? Compare them. What subject line performed better? What is going on? It gives you a moment to be like, okay, do I need to change before the next ones go out? Do I need to make changes on those emails to make sure my emails are being opened? Same thing with click-through rates. If your click-through rates are super low compared to last time you promoted this, see what's up. Did you make any changes? What can you do, right? But you won't know if you don't have the data to support these decisions. So you can tweak and improve the performance of your next emails in real time if you make the change, if you make the habit to keep up with adjusting or with tracking the data in the moment. And it honestly just takes a few seconds. In the worksheet, I show you exactly how to do it, and it takes less than a minute per day, okay? Now, the second reason why is, just like I've mentioned, it helps you make data-driven decisions. So instead of relying on guesswork, so instead of you relying on your assumptions or guessing, or I think it's better, or I think it's about the same, so it's not a big deal, right? You have concrete evidence to back you up, to back up whatever decision you're going to make. Let's say you've been tracking the same subject line, as an example, for 2 of your last challenges, and it's consistently bringing in low open rates. well, then it's time to change that open subject line. I'm getting my words confused. It is time to change that subject line. But you won't know unless you would have tracked all of this information. And sure, you might be thinking, well, I'll deal with that in the future. Like, no. Yes, that's your future that you're gonna be helping and supporting, but it also, like I said before, it helps you in real time too. So it helps back up all of your decisions with real concrete data instead of I think and maybe. And then the final reason why is it really truly helps you measure the success of your email campaigns. And in doing so, it increases your sales. So you can visually see how many people open your emails, clicked on the links, and converted into customers. And this data provides you with very insightful, valuable information of what has worked and what needs to be improved, whether it's for this launch that you're working on or the next one, because you would have known like, okay, this email just didn't hit it. Like this email didn't perform that well. Or it might be like you sent out one email and then you got really great results. Like people instantly were buying that product or service that you were offering. And you want to make sure that you include that email again. And in 3 months, when you're having that promotion again, you don't want to be like, oh, I know there was an email like you think you remember, but you don't remember. It's like, I was just chatting with a friend earlier about your kids and how you like to think that you're going to remember all of these magical moments. And so you don't write things down. You don't put them in some memory book because you're like, there's no way I'm going to forget this. Well, you forget. And as a mom, I feel bad because I'm like, oh, I knew I should have written it down. And it's the same thing here. You think you're going to remember because it was such a great email. There's no way you're going to forget. But so much has happened since then. So you are going to forget. And then you're going to have to go back into your email marketing platform, go through all the emails, look through everything until you find it. And then you're going to see the stats. But even then, it's going to be so helpful for you to just already have it done without having to waste all this extra time to look for it and then to figure out how to analyze it side by side with your new results. So by analyzing your email campaign data, you can easily identify which emails have generated the most sales, which have generated the least amount of sales. And this information helps you focus on strategies that will bring in the most revenue in the future with the minimal reduced effort. So if you want to learn about how to do this and you don't want to create the spreadsheet by yourself and just try to figure out what information you should be tracking, and you want to learn the simple and easy way to keep track of your campaigns to make these data-driven decisions that will help increase your sales now and later, then head to cheerstoproductivity.com/email-tracking to get the 3-part workshop where you're not only going to get the spreadsheets, but you're also going to get the insight on what to look for, when to track, and how to quickly analyze the information to make some super simple tweaks. That link will be waiting for you in the show notes. Now, in the next and final episode of this 4-part series, you're going to learn how I repurpose one of these podcast episodes over 4 platforms to maximize the reach and the time it took me to create and record these episodes, so that way I can really get the most out of every single content piece that I create, and how you can do so too. Thank you so much for listening to the Cheerful Productive Chats podcast with me, Lucy Reyes. To view the complete show notes and all the links mentioned in today's episode, visit cheerstoproductivity.com/68. Before you go, make sure you follow or subscribe wherever you're listening so you know once the next productive chat is released. Talk soon, and cheers to your productivity and success.